Okay, Ishan Prabhu, we're live, so you can introduce what's going to be the discussion today and a little bit about the.
Um, Maybe I should play the prayers first and then
Yes,
talk.
yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay. Nama Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Shunyavadi Paschat Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Yadishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parabrajacharya Astatara Satta Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Today we're going to talk a little bit. It's Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. So we haven't actually prepared anything, but I'm going to close the door because I think I'm picking up other voices. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see. Yes. Learning to play, learning to use new toys. Okay. So many things to think about. Oh, yes. So we're going to talk about Srila Prabhupada, and we're celebrating today. We're celebrating Srila Prabhupada's appearance. So it's been 50 years? 1980. About 50 years, yeah. 1965.
48 years.
Since Srila Prabhupada has appeared, and since his departure, so many things have changed. But we're talking about Srila Prabhupada and his movement. And here's some,
Meeting.
Like Srila Prabhupada, here we go back to his preface. What Srila Prabhupada wants, what I see. For instance, you go to different religions and people go to church on Sunday, what have you, and then they'll celebrate, the appearance of some great saintly person. And then they go about their lives, but they're more or less engaged in material activities for the most part. And already we see in the Krishna consciousness movement that it's become another religion where people go to temple on Sunday and etc. But in celebrating Srila Prabhupada's appearance and wanting to become one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples or students, we have to try and understand very much, what does Srila Prabhupada want from us? What does Srila Prabhupada want from me? So Srila Prabhupada, we know that there must be millions of Bhagavad Gitas as it is, distributed all over the world. And still they're distributing. But Srila Prabhupada makes, in the preface of his Bhagavad Gita, he says something very amazing. He says, where is it? Our Krishna consciousness movement is meant for teaching the whole world this central point, and because we are not polluting Bhagavad Gita as it is, anyone seriously interested in deriving benefit by studying the Bhagavad Gita, he must take help from this Krishna consciousness movement, which Srila Prabhupada set up in a very specific manner, for practical understanding of Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of the Lord, direct guidance of the Lord, that by following Srila Prabhupada, we're actually, who is Krishna's mouthpiece, so to speak, who is Krishna's ambassador, who is Krishna's representative, who has come to this world for telling us how to approach Krishna. He says, so one must take help from the Krishna consciousness movement for practical understanding of Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of the Lord, direct guidance. We hope, therefore, that people will derive the greatest benefit by studying the Bhagavad Gita as it is, as we have presented it here. And if even one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt a success. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, May 12, 1971, Sydney, Australia. That Srila Prabhupada, he knows he had so many students, and he is a Trikal yogi. He can see past, present, and future. He knows how this movement is going to expand all over the planet, just like there's one documentation where Srila Prabhupada came off of the boat coming to America, 1965, and he says, and one man says that talked to Srila Prabhupada in those days, and Srila Prabhupada said, there are books, there are temples, there are books, they're not written yet, but there's... So he could see everything. And he's saying that we hope that people will derive the greatest benefit. And if even one man, one person becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider our attempt at a success. This means that Srila Prabhupada is hoping to have some real students. He's not looking for a congregation. Of course he's wanting to spread Lord Chaitanya's movement to every town and village, but he's not expecting... people will sing, people make kirtan today. Even people make kirtan who are atheists today. People who make kirtan who are Mayavadis. They don't even believe that God has a personality. But they're making kirtan because Srila Prabhupada has spread kirtan. Here are some room conversations that Srila Prabhupada had. Here's one in Mexico, 1972, May 4, Mexico. Srila Prabhupada says, one moon is sufficient to dissipate the darkness. Using poetic. If there is one moon, that there is no need for millions of stars. It is useless to expect a large number of followers. what good will it do, Srila Prabhupada? We want only one good follower. And if I can get one man to become Krishna conscious, I will consider my mission fulfilled. So, Srila Prabhupada, how can a movement carry on? How can a movement go forward? It needs leadership. It needs some anacharya. It needs people to act as an example, to inspire others. Otherwise, it becomes very weak, just like Christianity today or any other, what have you. Here's another. 1975, room conversation, May 20, 1975. Melbourne, Australia. Srila Prabhupada's talking. He says, no, we don't take that by number of people. No. We don't take how many people are taking actually. Then he quotes, Akash Chandras Tamo Hanti. Quote, if one man accepts, then he can be the bright moon. So, our preaching is, Srila Prabhupada continues, let one man understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. We don't want disciples. I never collected disciples. I never compromised that you can do whatever you like and you can become my disciple. So, why? Because I have a transcript of an interview where Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, he received some disciples from Hawaii, and they had long hair, and they had beard, and they came to see Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, who are you? And they said, we're your disciples, Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, you're not my disciples. And they said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, we're your disciples. He said, no, you're not my disciples. He said, anyone who has long hair and a beard is not my disciple. It's a transcript. I have it on my computer. And they said, but we never knew that. You didn't tell us before. Yeah, I'm telling you now, Srila Prabhupada said, anyone who keeps a beard and long hair is not my disciple. So there has been so much deviation. People are going to temple on Sunday. I go to Alachua. There's over 1,000, a couple of thousand in the area. They go on Sunday. They don't go to Mangal Arti. No, I was there. I visited to see what is going on in the Krishna consciousness movement. No, they don't go, but they go on Sunday for a feast. He says, then, so he doesn't want beards. He doesn't, even in the books, there, Srila Prabhupada writes, I have quotes from the books, we don't like beards, he says. and so he said, Sanatan Goswami came to see Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya told one of his servants, Sanatan had stopped working for the Muslim government. He said, take him and have him shaved up. He said, then Srila Prabhupada comments, we, as Vaishnavas, we don't like this beard. So then now I see, they're on Facebook. devotees. They have beards. They have mustache. They have long hair, and they're thinking that I'm following Srila Prabhupada. And then he says, then you have online, I have quotes. Srila Prabhupada told me personally, because I wrote a poem. And Srila Prabhupada said, he read, and he said, it has some devotional feeling, yes, he said. Kindly, very kindly. But Vaishnavas don't write poetry until they're completely self-realized. Told me that. So I put it away. And then I have quotes from Srila Prabhupada's direct words in his books, that Vaishnava poetry coming from Acharya is as good as scripture, but it's not. It's not for us to write poetry. But today, online, there are Krishna conscious, so-called Krishna conscious poetry groups, where everybody is writing and reading their poems. But if I tried to sell them about these quotes, oh, they're very disturbed. How you can do that? We have strong devotional feeling, but Srila Prabhupada says no. But they're writing. They're keeping their hair, and they're writing poetry. And then they've changed the books. And here we have online so many. Don't change my books. Emphatically, don't change. And even in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that we may not have the ability to speak in your language. I'm paraphrasing so nicely. But anyone who is sincere, who has a heart that really wants to know how to approach God, he will not mind these grammatical errors or what have you. So it doesn't matter, and I'm presenting here, and it should be taken as it is. But no, they think they have to improve on Srila Prabhupada's words. Rascals. So then what? They've changed the deity. I have one letter from the man. It was written to another devotee that I know, God brother. They changed you. Srila Prabhupada says, you offer to the spiritual master, Bhoga, you prepare nice preparation, and he offers, and then to Lord Chaitanya, it's going up the line, and Lord Chaitanya offering to Krishna, so we say Namo Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya, Bhutale Shrimate, Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane, like that. Then Namo Mahabhadanaya, we're approaching Lord Chaitanya, and then Namo Brahmanaya Devaya, and Lord Chaitanya, he's offering to Krishna. And then Lord Chaitanya is the very first to take the remnants from Radha and Krishna, and it's going down through the whole line of the cyclic succession to Srila Prabhupada and then to us. So there's this devotee who, I don't know what his official position is within ISKCON, he writes, Srila Prabhupada made a mistake. Let me close the door. I have a copy of his letter. He actually says Srila Prabhupada was made a mistake. We have checked out scripture, and we have consulted with other people, Gaudiya Math, and we have, or other Sampradayas, and therefore Vaishnava Sampradaya, and no, we should offer to Krishna first. So they are thinking that they know better than Srila Prabhupada. So they've changed the deity worship process, they've changed the books, they've changed that a guru, someone becomes a guru because a group or meeting of conditioned souls votes for him. Just like in the Christian Catholic religion, the cardinals, they're voting amongst themselves who should be the representative of Jesus, and he becomes the Pope on the basis on the, that by voting he then becomes our contact with God. So they're doing that today. We'll come back to that, but it's totally ridiculous, and we'll talk about that. And then people go to the store and they're eating chocolate bars, they're eating pizza. I was speaking with one devotee on the telephone. He says that he goes to the store, they make terrific pizza. You can't, Srila Prabhupada said, you can't offer food. We can't offer food to Krishna that is prepared by a non-devotee. At times, Srila Prabhupada has taken the devotees in India to the homes of some very wealthy East Indian people who were a little bit, I'm looking for a word, they were a little bit appreciating, and the devotees said, Srila Prabhupada, about this, what they are serving us here. Srila Prabhupada said, eat, but it was the reason was not to offend the host, who might be donating a temple. He might be building a temple for the Krishna consciousness movement. So eat. But he didn't mean that means we should go out and buy pizzas and every kind of nonsense, processed foods, every kind of canned this and packaged that. No, so you get natural. So what people are doing, they're going to restaurants, they're going to Pizza House, they're going to church on Sunday, they're keeping birds, their beards, they're writing poetry, and they're changing the books, and they don't believe that Srila Prabhupada knows how to offer bhoga to Krishna. They don't know. We say, this body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses, Sharira Vidyajal, Jotendriya Tahikal, Jive, this body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses a network of paths leading to death. Of all the senses, the tongue, it's the most voracious, the most difficult sense to control. But Krishna is so kind, he gives us this nice prasadam, spiritual food to help conquer the tongue. Now let us take this prasadam to our full satisfaction. And the next line, in love, call upon the help of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. So what does that mean? That let us take this prasadam to our full satisfaction and in love call upon the help of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. It's described how they would take Krishna's remnants with ecstatic feeling. It's not like, oh, okay, it's offered, let's eat. It's a meditation in and of itself. And the only way to actually understand what Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda feel when they're taking prasadam is to approach them with feelings of love in our heart. In love, we call on the help of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. How to take prasadam. This is a meditation. It's not official that it's rubber stamped. You go through customs when you go to another country or enter the United States, and they stamp your passport. That now it's prasadam, it's stamped. We said the prayer, and now we can. So these things. So Srila Prabhupada, what we were reading, he wants to have just one devotee who takes all this seriously and doesn't think, oh yeah, I'm a Hare Krishna. This is my religion. Some people are Catholic, some people are Protestant, some people are Jews, some people are Muslims, and I'm a Hare Krishna. And then change whatever we want and go to church on Sunday. He said, no, he's hoping to have from the whole business, from writing all these books. I remember I could see Srila Prabhupada at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning with his microphone in his room. I could see through the window. Dictating these books so that we could become Krishna conscious, and living out of a briefcase, going from temple to temple, writing books, opening temples, installing deities, so that we could become Krishna conscious. So he's hoping that one person will take it up seriously so that he can represent this movement. So that applies to all of us. So we have to understand. Yes, after the Acharya departs, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes, after the Acharya departs, all havoc takes place. After Lord Chaitanya left, by the time Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared, there were 13 different groups that claimed to be representing Lord Chaitanya's movement. And they're called Upasampradayas. I'm not sure if I pronounced correct, but they were all bogus. And some of them were having rasa dances. They were dancing with ladies, other people's wives, in the name of Krishna consciousness. So one by one he was, so much so, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, that at the time he came in contact with Krishna consciousness movement, no respectable people in India would have anything to do with Lord Chaitanya's movement. That was in the mid-1800s. No respectable people, because people had changed so much what Lord Chaitanya was teaching. So we want to celebrate Srila Prabhupada's appearance, so we have to understand who is Srila Prabhupada and what was he teaching us. What does it mean to celebrate somebody's appearance, but if we don't know what they want to share with us? So Srila Prabhupada says that, following in the footsteps of Narottam Das Thakur, we have this prayer by Narottam. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Satma We sing every morning. It says, the translation is that the lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can cross over this great ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. So how do we, that we have to place ourselves at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. And so what transpires? You sing, Prema Bhakti Ahoite Avidya Vinashayate Prema Bhakti Ahoite Avidya Vinashayate. He says that from him, from Krishna's real representative, from him, this Krishna Prema emanates, just like the heat and light emanate from the sun and lights up the whole universe. So from Krishna's pure devotee, empowered representative, this Krishna Prem emanates. And our business, we have to catch it. People say, he lives forever by his divine instruction, and the followers live with him. It's true. Srila Prabhupada writes this in his books. He lives forever by his divine instruction, and the follower lives with him. But this is also his instruction. Prema from Krishna's real representative, this love of Krishna emanates, and we have to catch it. If we go to Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada explains this catching process. Oh, and in that Narottam Das's prayer, he says, "O Master, be merciful to me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet." Ha ha Prabhu Koradoya, Deho More Padachoya. "O Master, please be merciful to me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet." So what is that shade? It says that if we can catch that emanation of love of Krishna from him, then our ignorance is destroyed. Because as long as we're in ignorance, then the scorching rays of Maya are burning our hearts. So if we're asking, please give me the shade of your lotus feet, that means we're begging to receive that emanation of love of Krishna, which is the only thing that will give us, destroy our ignorance. So every day, the devotees all over the world are singing, the lotus feet of our spiritual masters, the only way we can receive this taste of love of Krishna. "O Master, please give me the shade of your lotus feet. Please let me receive that emanation of love that is coming from you." So Srila Prabhupada explained that's the real devotee. That's the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He's looking for one person who can catch. So he says, oh, but he lives forever by his divine instruction. They say, but we're following. We get up for Mangal Artik, we chant it. Now, this is also, there's the forms, the devotional forms, the forms of devotional service, and there's the heartfelt content of devotional service. So the forms is Where are we going to get the content, the loving content? That is the prema bhakti, yahahoite. We have to catch. We have to have such an intimate connection with Srila Prabhupada that we can feel his heartfelt feelings. That is how prema bhakti yahahoite. That is how we, so Srila Prabhupada said, and these are his instructions for those who wish to follow, that this pure devotion, Srila Prabhupada says, and I know I've said this before, but it's what we're trying to follow. That's why we speak about it. We try to share it with our God brothers, God sisters, Matajis, because we're trying to cultivate this in our own life. And by discussing amongst ourselves, we can keep this spirit alive. So Srila Prabhupada used Vaishnavas, they're very poetic. So he says, he compares this catching of this flavor of devotion in the association of a pure devotee. This is the meaning of practicing Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a realized soul. That's the meaning of it. What is he guiding? He's giving us this kind of sharing his heart with us. That's how Lord Chaitanya taught and spread devotional service. And Krishnadas Kaviraj writes, for those who live in different countries, how could they come in touch with Lord Chaitanya and experience what he's feeling, this love of Krishna? He says Lord Chaitanya entered into the bodies of his disciples, of his associates, so that they could share. And that this comes down to us through the disciplic succession. This is what a spiritual master has. Yeah. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, it's in the nectar of devotion, he says, a conditioned soul cannot liberate a conditioned soul. It has to be somebody who has this love of Krishna. He can share that with us if we're submissive enough to imbibe the taste. So Srila Prabhupada writes that pure devotion, it's infectious. Infectious. He's using a metaphor. He says 1.5.25 in Bhagavatam. Pure devotion is as much infectious, but in a good sense, just like an infectious disease. In other words, you catch it from someone who has it. And then in that same purport, 1.5.25, Srila Prabhupada writes, infection of the qualities of the pure devotee. What does it mean? He writes, infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste. Now it's another metaphor, just like you drink something, then some nectar, and you get the taste. There's a taste. It's called the nectar of devotion. Bhakti Rasam Rita Sindhu. It has a flavor, an emotional flavor in the heart. So he says this infection means to imbibe. And then Srila Prabhupada says, this is not for advanced devotees. He says the neophyte devotee imbibes the taste in the association of the bona fide spiritual master. If we have a real spiritual master who has the taste of love of God, the love of Krishna, and we, therefore Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna says, Tadvidi pranipatena paraprashnena sevaya. What is pranipat? You You just approach, what does Krishna say? A realized devotee. He says that. You approach a realized devotee, 1.5.25, and be very submissive before him, inquiring into this path of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that don't ask silly questions. He says that's condemned. What the real question is, how can I get this taste? It's in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya that the disciple should inquire. This is word for word from the bona fide spiritual master about the subject of love. What is this love of God? So this is inquiry and being submissive enough to feel what someone else is feeling. And then service, inquiry, submission, and service. That one serves with the same feeling that we're getting in his association. And this feeling saturates all of our service. At first, by cultivation, our sadhana, chanting our rounds, kirtan, reading, like that. But finally, more mature, everything we do, it's as if Srila Prabhupada is in our heart. He's teaching us, sharing with us that mood. We have to be in his association to live in his association 24 hours. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, that person who's tasting this nectar of devotion, when will I hold his feet until the end of time? When, oh when, will that day be mine? So this is, he's, for our benefit, he's writing like this, that this is the mood of, this is the mood of the disciple, wanting to learn. So he lives forever by his divine instruction, and the follower lives with him. Everything we're discussing right now is part of those instructions. It doesn't mean a checklist of I did this today, I did this, I did this, I did this. I distributed some book. I chanted 16 rounds, and I got up early, took my shower, attended this, and went to class. Now I've followed the instruction. Now one day I'll be blessed with love of Krishna. But the instructions are much broader than that. The instructions are the lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way. From him this love of Krishna emanates. This love of Krishna, pure devotion, it's infectious, like an infectious disease. And to become infected means to drink in the taste of his devotion. And the neophyte devotee, quote, becomes enriched. The neophyte becomes enriched with the devotional quality of the pure devotee. And he says this happens from neophyte, and then it goes to the next stage, the next stage, the next stage. But we're neophytes. But so we have to learn how to have a living relationship. Otherwise we may as well have a so-called guru who's been elected by the votes of a group of conditioned souls. He can repeat the words of Bhagavad Gita, even if they're changed by their editors or what have you. He can say you're not this body. He can say you're eternal spirit soul. He can say that you're part and parcel of Krishna. But can he Can he share with us what is love of Krishna? And this is how the process works. His lotus feet are the only way by which we can attain this pure devotional service, because it emanates from him. And if we can catch it, our ignorance is destroyed. It's just like catching a disease or an infection, and by imbibing the taste of his devotion. These are the instructions. So when the follower of these instructions, he's with Srila Prabhupada. It doesn't mean that those who are simply chanting Hare Krishna, of course anyone can chant Hare Krishna, but Srila Prabhupada says in the last verse in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 that this, what we're talking about, can happen in a second when we're ready to do it. Or he says one can practice for millions of births and not come to the position of understanding what is this Krishna consciousness in the way we say, Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gora Tashe Namaha. He's more magnanimous, Lord Chaitanya, than any other avatar. They're unlimited avatars. In every yuga, there are yuga avatars. There are different, so many. So, but Lord Chaitanya is more magnanimous than any. Just like Lord Ram is teaching how to follow, be a very dutiful person, be obedient. Everyone should do their duty. But Lord Chaitanya is distributing this taste of love of Krishna, desiring to understand the glories of Radharani's love. Lord Chaitanya is desiring to understand Radharani is Krishna. He's desiring to understand, oh, Krishna, Srimati Radharani loves me so much. Desiring to understand her love. And because she's more ecstatic than Lord Chaitanya, than Krishna. And the wonderful qualities in me, Krishna says, that she appreciates, that only she can appreciate because of her great love for me. And the happiness that she feels when she experiences Krishna's love. Krishna wanted to, and he wanted to experience what it's like to feel what Srimati, he wanted it. So he came down in the mood of Srimati Radharani to taste these things. But, Krishna Das Kaviraj explains, it was also time for the Yuga avatar to come for spreading the spiritual life. So he combined them. He came to taste this ecstatic love of God which no other incarnation ever offered before. To this taste of love of Krishna. At the same time, it was time to spread the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names. He combined, so that by chanting these holy names, in the mood of Lord Chaitanya, one can feel this love for Krishna. Where do we get that mood? Srila Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that one can hear the chanting of Lord Chaitanya through the disciplic succession. That we, so that then it's a question of submissiveness, to be able to hear what Srila Prabhupada is sharing. He's singing Jaya Radha Madhava. He's singing take it one bhajan of Srila Prabhupada's. He's left us so many bhajans. Record. Take one bhajan, learn the word for word of what he's saying, and then chant with Srila Prabhupada. Chant with Srila Prabhupada. Try to feel what he's feeling. The more we do it, the more it'll be revealed to us. It said, one prayer by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in our songbook called Gurudev says, the disciple says to his spiritual master, I'm so respectful to you. I offer you all respect, and if I do, with the hope that I'll be able to understand your feelings. I offer you all respect, for thus I may have the energy by which I can know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name with ecstatic feeling, then all my offenses will cease. This means by receiving that emanation, prema bhakti, avidya, our ignorance is destroyed. It's the same idea, exact same idea. That I offer you all respect, for thus I may have the energy by which I can know you correctly, by being submissive enough to catch what he's giving, what he's sharing. Then by chanting and with ecstatic feeling, all my offenses will cease. My ignorance will be destroyed. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. As Srila Prabhupada says, give me the shade of your lotus feet, Narottam. Please let me take shelter of you. By you fill my heart with your feelings. Then I have your shade. There's no other way. He says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one, he was writing an article, he says, this sharing, Vaishnavas are very poetic. He says, like lightning is moving from one cloud to another. He says, in this way one picks up or receives the energy, the devotional energy of pure devotee. He says, then Srila Prabhupada writes, chapter 12, Nectar of Devotion. Association is like a crystal stone, like a mirror, which reflects anything that's put before. So he said, if we associate with somebody who has love, he says, if the heart is clean, then it can receive what Srila Prabhupada is, what is emanating from Srila Prabhupada, and reflect, just like a mirror. That's what Srila Prabhupada said, one moon. What is that moon? The moon is reflecting the light of the sun. So he wants one moon. Somebody who can receive what he's emanating and reflect it into the world. Srila Prabhupada says, then he says, that's the seed of devotional service. There's so many different, so many different poetic ways of describing this process. These are the instructions by which Srila Prabhupada lives forever. And the follower, this person who is having this very intimate relationship with Krishna's pure devotee, who has brought this Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana, who has brought this chanting from the spiritual sky to share with us. So these are, the follower is the one who is trying to understand these instructions. The follower is with him. Without being with Srila Prabhupada, one can't follow. Without having an intimate relation. Srila Prabhupada actually writes in the 10th canto purport that the initiation means the cultivation of what? A heart-to-heart relationship. The cultivation of Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a pure devotee means the cultivation of a heart-to-heart relationship. Srila Prabhupada's a transcendental person. To think that he's gone is a misunderstanding of our Krishna conscious philosophy. He's all-pervasive. Not only is he available as a pure devotee, but Krishna's representative as Acharya is empowered to take, it's called a Shaktya Vaishavatar. Krishna appears before us sometimes as an empowered living entity who can play the role of God himself. He can play the role of God himself. How? Well, that's why we say that the bona fide spiritual master is an external manifestation of Krishna within our hearts. What does that mean? It means Krishna is in everybody's heart as the super soul, but because we cannot relate to him immediately, he appears before us as an external manifestation, but he has all the power of the Lord in our heart. Therefore, he can be the spiritual, he's called Jagat Guru, he's the spiritual master of all the souls in the universe in that way. As many as are capable, are willing, and able to associate with him intimately enough to imbibe the taste of his devotion. So this is what Srila... So on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, I feel moved to share what Srila Prabhupada so much wants to teach us, to tell us, to share with us. Yeah, we can Jaya Prabhupada today and tomorrow. It's good, but we should know what is the reality, what is the real process, what is the real science, and even we feel incapable of assimilating, of integrating this into our lives, that we're so distracted. We're so forgetful. We're so passionately involved in success and failure, victory and defeat, honor and dishonor. We're in the modes of passion and ignorance. But if we practice these, try to integrate these things, just like Srila Prabhupada said, we should chant in front of the altar, in front of the deities. If we don't have Radha Krishna on our altar, we can have a picture. It's as powerful as the form of the Lord on the altar. We can practice in front of Lord Chaitanya Nityananda. And we can practice in front of a picture of Srila Prabhupada. He's completely present. He says that. He's present in his... And what is the mood of Lord Chaitanya Nityananda? Their arms are upraised. They're ecstatically engaged in Krishna consciousness. We should, and call on the help of Lord Chaitanya Nityananda in love. Call on the help of Lord Chaitanya Nityananda. That they'll share their spirit of Krishna consciousness with us. And chant in that's the way we chant our rounds, or we chant in front of Radha and Krishna picture, or what form, what, the love that they share. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're celebrating. Krishna consciousness is a celebration. We're celebrating the love between Radha and Krishna. It says that when the gopi assistants of Radha and Krishna, when they see Radha and Krishna combined, it's in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, they experience more ecstasy than Radha and Krishna. They take so much pleasure in the combination when Radha and Krishna come together. They experience more spiritual ecstasy than Radha and Krishna. Learning to be happy for Krishna's happiness, for Radha's happiness. It doesn't mean that we're going to fall on the ground or start crying. If that happens, that's very good. But a real devotee, Srila Prabhupada writes, will keep those feelings in his heart. I read in Nectar of Devotion that a pure devotee is always having these ecstatic feelings, but he's very reluctant to make a show of it. Doesn't want to make a show. He keeps those feelings and continues with his sadhana like everyone else. For setting a good example, and he enjoys, but he enjoys inside, not making a show, because people are making a show. Why? Because they want followers, they want adoration. They want adoration, distinction, and profit. So then we have, like Srila Prabhupada said, and I'll wrap it up soon, not to talk too long. A conditioned soul, it's in Nectar of Devotion, cannot deliver another conditioned soul. In other words, the person who doesn't have this love of Krishna, he can't share it with anyone, because he doesn't have it. You can't share. Therefore, Krishna said, the self-realized soul will impart knowledge unto you. Bhagavad Gita. Only the self-realized soul can share this love with us. So we have, in ISKCON today, so many people are taking the role guru, but they cannot share this. with their disciples. They're like you and me. Some of them are falling down. We're hearing of it from week to week. You're falling in love with their so-called disciples. An 80-year-old man becoming romantically involved with a younger woman. It's going on in ISKCON today. And then they're giving him some time to do penance or something. And how can... but a pure devotee, he doesn't see people in terms of their body. He sees spirit soul. He doesn't see man and woman. That's the material covering. It's like you can change your suit of clothes from one lifetime another, man, woman, a bird, beast, what have you. So it's completely ludicrous that it's so ridiculous, it's laughable, and yet people are worshipping. What is that? But it's going on. So one has to be intelligent enough to know the difference, to know. Therefore we have to read Srila Prabhupada's books, listen to his talks. It says that every morning, even in ISKCON, they sing the Samsara prayers. Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Siddhai Yaya Labir Jakti Rapekshaniya Tatratidakshat Atibalabhasya Bande Gudoshi Charanaravinda. Our spiritual master is very much expert in assisting the gopis who are engaged in the perfection of Radha Krishna conjugal love affairs. At different times, they make different tasteful arrangements for that exchange between Radha and Krishna. And our spiritual master is there to assist in these affairs. So I say, go to any ISKCON guru and ask him if he was there this morning for assisting in the affairs of conjugal loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. You were there to assist in these affairs? What kind of nonsense? And yet they're singing this every day, and they can, Prema Bhakti, from him this love, ecstatic love of Krishna emanate. They're neophytes, like you and me. The whole ISKCON movement is gone to hell. They have departed so much from what Srila Prabhupada, from what Vaishnavism, it has become another religion, and it will become a dead branch of the Chaitanya tree, and it will fade away. So one has to be intelligent, at least to begin to understand what are Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and then to be very happy that Srila Prabhupada has appeared to share all of this with us. And to really express our appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's appearance is to appreciate what he's trying to share with us. That's how we show our appreciation for his appearance. He's looking for one moon who can reflect the light of Krishna consciousness that he is radiating to the whole universe. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the uh, talk today on Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day and the wonderful movement he created, which has changed over the last 48 years, 2025 now. So, what can we say? You know, they changed the books, they changed the management, they changed deity worship, they've changed a lot of things. So, it's no longer recognizable, at least for people who know what the standard is.
It's not Srila Prabhupada's movement anymore. It's
Yeah,
something else.
exactly. Yeah, so it's no longer Prabhupada's ISKCON. Just name only something else. Anyways, that's going on like Prabhupada says.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Right. So maybe you can play one kirtan before we end with the Mardanga this time. Would you be able to do that
Yeah,
before we end?
excuse me. I'll get my mridanga, okay?
Yes,
And you'll
yes.
tell me how it sounds.
Yeah. So we're gonna hear Ishan Prabhu chant Hare Krishna. Today is Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day, November 7th, August 17th, 2025. Ishan Prabhu made the Balaram Mardanga under Prabhupada's direction.
Do you? Let's see.
There we go.
Put on this. Technology. I'm not very good at technology. Do you? I was born in a different century. When I was a child, they didn't have television yet.
1942, 1943.
44.
Oh, 44. Okay.
Do you have pericartals?
I do, but I rather hear you sing and chant. I'm enjoying that. Yeah, this is
Okay.
good.
Teeny, teeny, ta. De utanaka de ditya, ditya de. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur
Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare
Right.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everything, the sound comes out very clearly, so it's very nice. The bass and the big head and the small head.
They
What
come.
would you call? Yeah, it's very, very clear. So
Did you record that?
this was recorded. Yeah, this was
Oh,
recorded.
okay, I'll get to listen. And I like to listen to my talks. I think, oh yeah, I should do that. What I'm talking about.
Try.
It's a
Okay, you should.
very, very good microphone. It's called a
Yeah,
condenser microphone.
yeah. So it's there. It's recorded on the channel, so I'll add it to our Ishan page playlist, so you'll get to see it. Thank you very much, Ishan Prabhu, for your wonderful talks, and really inspired by the discussions, really helping get a more of a transcendental understanding about Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, an
You know, it's
it's when you start a new job or something, they get a team of men, then they give an
mm,
orientation.
right.
It's like how it works and what are the rules of the game,
Yeah.
etc.
Okay, Ishan Prabhu, thank you very much. I'll see you next week, or we'll
If
talk over the week. Feel free to
if
give
you,
me a call.
yeah, thank you. I just say that you look so nice there. I would give you a hug of so I can send you long distance.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.